I want to bring in now Syrian columnist Hyde, who's a consulting fellow at Chatham House in London. You also have family, as I know, living in Aleppo. It's good to have you here today. As we look at where things stand in Syria this morning, the fact that this U.S. delegation is in Damascus, the first time in more than a decade, and we're also learning from officials, they say they want to engage directly with the Syrian people. What do you expect to come of these meetings? And just put in perspective for us the importance of this happening after more than a decade.
First of all, thank you for having me. I think this is important for different factors. One of them is that, as you mentioned, has been over a decade that there has not been a direct contact with the sort of authorities in Damascus. Second, that now this issue could potentially, or this engagement could potentially shed some light on how to engage with Hayat Tahrir Sham and its leader, Al-Julani, as they are sanctioned as or designated as terrorist groups and leader. And then the third one is related to I think making sure that there is clear sort of understanding for what should come next. And regarding what might come out of it, at this stage, I think it's difficult to really expect any concrete sort of agreement or results. The statement or the discussion most likely will focus on just ensuring that the transition in Syria will be inclusive and highlighting some of the key issues related to fighting ISIS and dealing with key files like the chemical weapons file.
There is all of that. There's also this refrain, I think, that we've heard from a number of world leaders over concerns about HTS, right, and being in charge, and the importance of this being an inclusive government, and certainly moving forward a democratic effort, and that they essentially walk the walk, not just talk the talk in terms of promises. Where do you see the best pressure campaign coming from to make that happen?
I think it will be the best one will be if you have a unified, not only messaging, but also coordinated efforts to make sure that all the discussions are happening jointly and in direct coordination among each other vis-a-vis the group and its leader. Right now, if you look at the different sort of delegations that visited Damascus over the past week or so, you will see that each country is going there, sending some diplomats to go and talk to the group individually. I think while engaging with the group and its leader is useful at this stage and will be important, making sure that there is a unified position and that message and that position is directly communicated with the group is essential, because there is one sort of side of things that is related to the narrative and positive messages that the group is sending. However, when it comes to the implementation of those sort of promises, the situation is slightly different. When you look at the current transitional body that is appointed by the group, it's mostly, if not all of it is basically managed by individuals, either who are part of the group or directly linked to the group, which gives the group an extensive sort of control and influence over what's happening right now in Syria. And unfortunately, when we see all the delegations going there and acting as if now they're talking to the de facto leader of Syria, that does not help pushing forward a process that will lead to an inclusive and a democratic sort of change.
Yeah, it's an important point. Hyde, really appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you.